Hello everyone. So today in this video I am going to discuss about that what is smoke testing in software testing. So first we have to know that what is smoke testing. What is smoke testing? So testing the basic and critical feature of an application before doing thorough and rigorous testing is called smoke testing. That means what is smoke testing? Testing the basic and critical feature of an application before doing thorough and rigorous testing is called smoke testing. So we can tell it like that: testing the basic and critical feature of an application before doing before doing thorough and rigorous testing is called smoke testing. So testing the basic and critical feature of an application before doing thorough and rigorous testing is called smoke testing. Now I am giving you one very basic example of smoke testing so guys you will be more understand about that what is smoke testing. Okay, so let's start. So let's say this is one company, okay, and this is one customer. Okay, so this is one company and this is one customer. Okay, so I am naming this company as A. Let's say it's A, and the customer name is, let's say it's a B. Okay, now so the customer is requested to this company A. This customer B is requested to this company A that they need to make one software. Okay, so the customer requested that company. Okay, so for that requirement, so for this software, the customer has given some set of requirement to that company A. Now let's say this customer has given this company to make that software, let's say 30 days. Okay, they have given 30 days time period. So within the 30 days, the customer need that software. Okay, so now as the customer has given some requirement to the company, that means now from the company side requirement collection is done, feasibility study is done, designing phase is tested, coding is done. Now white box testing is done by the developers. That means all the necessary thing is done by that company. So before doing all of these things, suppose let's say few I'm writing all these things, like one is that requirement collection is done. Requirement collection is done. Okay, now second thing is that feasibility study is done. Okay, feasibility study is done. Now design phase is tested. Design phase is tested. Now coding is also done. Coding is done. Now white box testing is done by the developer. So requirement collection is done, feasibility study is done, design phase is tested, coding is done, white box testing is done by the developers. So everything is done. Okay. Now, to doing all of these things, let's say to doing all of these things, the developer has wasted or developer has used, let's say 20 days. So it will take 20 days to complete all of these things. It will take, let's say 20 days to complete all of this thing. Okay. Now, what happened? So that means only we have 10 days left, right? Because the total time was 30 days. Okay. The total time was 30 days. And before, I mean, doing all of these stuffs, requirement collection, feasibility study, design, coding, then testing. So almost 20 days gone and 10 days are left to test the software and deliver to that customer B. So only we have 10 days in our hand. So within that 10 days, we have to test that applications and we have to hand over that application to the customer. Now, developer done the software by white box testing and given that software to the test engineer. Okay, then what will happen? Then after giving that software to the test engineer, first test engineer will do, let's say it's a test engineer. Okay, then what will do test engineer? First the test engineer will do unit testing, right? First test engineer will do unit testing. So when unit testing will be done, they will do integration testing. Now after integration testing, the test engineer will do system testing, right? So this thing will be done by the developer. The test engineer will do unit testing, integration testing, and system testing. Now let's say in that, whatever application is done by the company A, let's say this is the application. So this is one application. So this application is requested by the customer to build. Okay, so this is the application. So let's say in these applications we have 3 modules. Okay, so in that applications, let's say we have 3 modules. 3 modules are there. Okay, so 3 modules are there. Fine. Now, so all these 3 modules, let's say there is 3 modules. I'm naming this module as A and B and C. Total 3 modules are there. Okay, so in that 3 modules, suppose that module A has, let's say 10 components. Okay, 10 components. And for module B has, let's say the module B has 20 components. Let's say module B has 20 components and module C has, let's say 5 components. Okay, so module C has 5 components. Okay, now how many days we have left? 10 days we have left. Okay, so in that unit testing, so what we will do? So first developer will do unit testing. Now let's say first first test engineer will do unit testing. Okay, so whenever the test engineer is doing unit testings, they taken, let's say 2 days. They taken 2 days to complete the unit testing. Okay, so unit testing days they have taken to complete the unit testing. And then suppose they take 1 day, let's say 1 day for completing the, suppose, integration testing. Okay, and whenever they are doing the system testing for that module C, suppose it has taken almost, let's say 3 days. Okay, 3 days, let's say 3 days. Okay, now whenever they are doing the system testing, so they have found one blocker. What happened? They have found one blocker. So we have 10 days left for testing that. So we have worked 2 plus 1 plus 3, that means 6 days we have done, already done. So we have only 4 days left. And whenever the test engineer is going for the system testings, they have found one blocker. Okay, now what will happen? Now the developer, I mean the test engineer will give that software to the developer, and the developer will fix the bug, and again the developer will give the software to the test engineer. Okay, so let's say whenever, so here one blocker has found, here one blocker has found. Now when developer are fixing that blocker, let's say that dev has taken 3 days, more 3 days. Okay, they have taken more 3 days. That means 3 plus 3 plus 1 plus 2, that means already 9 days gone, already 9 days gone. So we have only 1 days to left, because the total time was 10 days for the test engineer. We have only 1 day to left, and within that 1 day we have to again test the unit testing, then integration testing, then system testing, because dev has fixed something and we have to test all of these things again from the starting, that means from the unit testing. Okay, so after fix the bug or blocker, developer will again give the software to the test engineer, and test engineer will again do the unit testing, integration testing, and system testing. So already 9 days gone out of the 10 days. So again to full testing it will take more than 10 days, almost 10 days to complete the testing. Okay, so that means how much time it will take? So 1 days left. So that means, so total we have 30 days, total we have 30 days, and we have again take more, I mean total, that means again we have taken 9. Okay, that means 39 days. So already 9 days, already 9 days we have taken extra, right? Already 9 days we have taken extra. Now what will happen? The customer requested to make the software within 30 days, and we have promised that customer, our company A is promised that customer, like, yes, we will do that software within the 30 days. But doing all of this stuff, it will take 9 days more, that means 39 days. Then customer will escalate us. Okay, so to avoid this situation, company will go for system testing. Is that clear? That when we'll go for system testing? So that is the basic funda, that when we will go for system testing. Okay, so now clear guys, that what is system testing and when we will go for system testing. Okay, sorry, smoke testing, my mistake. So now we have cleared that what is smoke testing. Smoke testing means testing the basic and critical feature of an application before doing thorough and rigorous testing is called smoke testing. And when we will use smoke testing, so here is the answer. So to avoid these all of things, we will go for smoke testing. Okay, now, so in that smoke testing, what test engineer will do? Test engineer will directly go for checking basic and critical features of an application. That is the main aim of smoke testing. Now different companies, I mean there has different name of that smoke testing. So some companies, they can say it is like build verification testing. Okay, and some company they can tell us confident testing. Okay, confident testing. Some of company they can use like dry run testing. Okay, now some of company they can use it like uh, positive testing, like positive testing, or some of company they can use the name like health check of the product, health check of the product. Okay, and some companies they can use it like skin testing, skin testing. So different name they can use, or some of company they can use it like sanity testings also. Okay, so that is the different name that different company can use. Okay, so now what are the benefits of smoke testing? So what are the benefits? Benefits. So if we are doing smoke testing and ensuring that basic and critical feature of an application is working perfectly fine or not, then we can go for component testing or unit testing or integration testing or system testing. Okay, so the main benefit of the smoke testing is that we have to check the basic and critical features of an application. So we don't directly go for that unit testing, integration testings and system testing also, because if we go for that, I mean this way, if we go for this way, we can see that we will waste lots of time and directly customer will escalate us. So to avoid this thing, the main benefit of the smoke testing is that we will check the basic and critical feature of an application. Now you guys have a question in your mind that what do you mean by basic and critical features? So basic and critical features means by which the customer can use the feature and run their business. What do you mean by basic and critical? By which the customer can use the feature and run their business. Suppose, let's say one example for Amazon or Flipkart. So what is the main fund of Flipkart? What is the main business scenario of the Flipkart? One user can log in, they can search any product, they can add that product to their cart, and they can payment, and um, finally the product will be delivered. So that is the main business scenario of the Flipkart. Okay, so basic and critical features means we have to check that basic feature and basic features and functionality, that means in which the customer can use that feature and run their business, that is working perfectly fine or not. We have to check that in that smoke testing, and that is mean by basic and critical feature. Okay, now smoke testing has two types. Okay, smoke testing has two types. So two types. One is the formal smoke testing, formal smoke testing, and another is the one is the formal smoke testing, and another is the informal smoke testing. Okay, so smoke testing has two types. One is formal smoke testing and another is informal smoke testing. Now question, what do you mean by formal smoke testing? Formal smoke testing means when the build is coming, then the test engineer, there will be in when the build is coming to the test engineer, there will be some set of smoke test cases which they need to perform, right? So what do you mean by formal smoke testing? When the build is coming to the test engineers, there will be some set of smoke test cases which they need to perform. Okay, let's say they have 50 test cases are there. 50 test cases are there. Okay, 50 formal smoke test cases are there. And within that 50 test cases, we have, let's say, 20 cases are critical or basic. We can say that basic or critical feature. Basic or critical features. Or critical. Critical feature. Okay. So within that 50 test cases, so 20 test cases are basic or critical features. Okay. So now In formal smoke testing, so formal smoke testing means there will be set of test cases which we need to perform before moving thorough and rigorous testing. Whatever build is acceptable, whether we have to check that whether the build is acceptable or not. That means in formal smoke testing, if there is 50 test cases are there and 20 test cases are basic and critical features, so in that formal smoke testing, we have to ensure that that we have to focus on that 20 basic critical and basic features, that before going to that thorough or rigorous testing, whether we have to check that whether the build is acceptable or not. That is called formal smoke testing. Suppose out of these 20 basic or critical test cases, only 10 cases are passed. Okay, then the test engineer will reject the build and give it to the developer again. That is the main funda of formal smoke testing. Okay, and what do you mean by informal smoke testing? So informal smoke testing means many companies, they are not worried about whether the test engineer are going to perform any smoke testing or not. Okay, there will, not any document of test cases. It is totally depending on the test engineer. Okay, so the test engineer will decide that they will do informal smoke testing or not. There is no foundation that some of your companies guys or some of your team leads or your project manager will ask you that please go for that informal smoke testing. No, in that informal smoke testing, there is no documentation are there. There is no test cases are there. Mean the smoke testing will be done in a informal way, right? So that is called informal smoke testing. Okay, now we are very much clear about that what is smoke testing. When we'll go for smoke testing, what is the benefit of smoke testing, and different name of that smoke testing, and what are the types of smoke testings, mean formal smoke testing and informal smoke testing. Now what are the advantage of smoke testing? So first advantages, I can say you that smoke testing is easy to perform because we are testing the basic and critical features of an application. We are not going, thorough and rigorous testing. We are just testing that basic and critical features. That means the main business scenario we are testing in the smoke testing, right? And point number 2, smoke testing helps in identifying defects in the early stages, because first we are going to check the basic and critical features. That's why smoke testing is helping us to identify the defects in the early stages, right? Number 3, smoke testing improves the quality of the system. Obviously, because as we are testing the main business scenario, main business logic, so that's why, I mean, it will improve, the smoke testing will improve the quality of the system, right? And number 4, smoke testing reduces the risks of failure, because the what will, I mean, the first testing, from the customer side, what will be the first testing? The first testing will be the main business scenario. So in smoke testing, as we are already checked the main business scenario, main critical features, that means it reduces the risk of failure. Okay. And number 5, we can say that smoke testing saves test effort and time. Obviously, because we are not going any deep, any regressed or any thorough testing, we are just checking the basic and critical feature. So that's why it will take less effort and less time. Okay. Now, one advantage is that smoke testing, that we can automate that smoke test cases. We can automate that smoke test cases, right? Number 7, smoke testing makes it easy to detect critical errors and help in the corrections of error. Okay. Now, these are all of the advantages of smoke testing. And now coming to the next point, that what is the disadvantages of smoke testing? So, smoke testing doesn't cover all the functionality in the application. Only it covers the basic and critical feature. Suppose when we are going for the smoke testing, as we know that in smoke testing we will check the basic and critical functionality of an application. Apart from that, if there is any issue, that will be mistake from our end, right? That will be mistake from our end. That's why smoke testing doesn't cover all the functionality in the application. Only a certain part of the testing is done in that smoke testing. So that is the disadvantage. So apart from that critical features, if in my application is there any error, so we cannot find out. So that will be a, I mean, that can be happen a big issue, big error in future, right? And the second disadvantage, so in the case of smoke testing, it takes a lots of time to execute the testing process for larger project. Obviously, for the large project, it will take lots of time to execute the testing process, right? And number three, it will not be implemented against the negative test or with the invalid input, because smoke testing, I in my in my document I have already told you that the name of the smoke testing is a positive testing. So positive testing means we will put some positive data, we will give some valid data. So in that smoke testing we cannot go for the negative test data or invalid input. So it will be a big disadvantage of smoke testing, right? So, and so these are all of the disadvantage of smoke testing. So guys, now you are very much clear about the smoke testing. I mean, what is smoke testing and everything. So if you guys have any doubt, please comment me. And if you guys like my video, please thumbs up and subscribe to my channel EduPaat and click on the bell icon. So guys, you will get my videos notifications update first. So see you in the next videos with some interesting topic of software testing. Thank you.